Hello, everybody out there, internet world. Um, just an FYI. Before you throw out your fans that have stopped working or aren't blowing enough air and such like that, stop. Don't throw it away. Put on your hard hat and your DIY handyman belt and take a look at it. If it's dusty, you can easily take fans apart. They're not that hard, not rocket science. They're just a couple of large lids, almost like screw off lids and whatnot, like caps almost. One will be for your fan, the blade itself, and after you get the faceplate off, which may be held on and whatnot through various means. Some of them are just pinch point and easily pop off. Others require screws to be taken off before they come off. Others have a screw at a singular point, which uh, grips the entire casing. But look at it, give it a little bit of investigative thought, and check it out. And once you do, you'll start to figure out how to take it apart. Once you do, you might start to see shit like this. Yikes. That's what happens when a fan pushes air for a little while. It collects dirt and dust. Eventually, its efficiency will be reduced because of that buildup. You need to clean that. Here's how. And my lovely assistant Mario is just checking to make sure that my cleaning is quality approved. Now, you got to do a little more than just, you know, the good old rub rub. You're going to have to do something, maybe immerse this in some water. It's okay to wash this part. Just don't wash the electrical part, which is the motor itself. I'll show you what I mean by you should be able to take these things apart. Fans are easy. Some, like this one, not so much. And that one's a mean one, too. It bit me, it bit my friend, and oddly enough, we all thought it was the most harmless. But here's what I mean. Fans generally come in some components that look like this. Now, there's another component to this. It's already on the motor. I'm packing this away so that I can move. When you get a boxed fan, or any fan for that matter, generally from any store, it'll be condensed in a box, ready for you. When you buy it, if it's not a tower fan, as in not a standing fan, but a tower fan, where it's a singular tower that's cylindrical or any other shape that does not have a bladed fan standing that oscillates, but a tower, then those are going to still have to be maintained. And those ones are generally clamshelled together and take a little bit of intriguing work to get apart. Bladed fans, however, oh jeez, my editing skills suck. Bladed fans, however, have capabilities of being able to be taken apart and cleaned rather easily. Ever since that they started to come out of one another, ever since I seen the one not sitting on the one sitting on my grandmother's, table and end stand and stuff like that. That beige thing with the clear blades that were brownish in color, and the weird buttons too. The weird square, blocky. Neutral toned buttons. This will need to be cleaned. It can be immersed in water. This will need to be cleaned. It needs to be immersed in water. This does not need to be cleaned, but you can probably clean it if you really want to, probably with a nice damp rag. This needs to be wiped down with a moistened, squeezed out rag that is not damp or dripping or immersed in water. The system that is electrical needs to stay out of the water and needs to stay away from water as much as possible. So much so that even if you start leaving moisture on it or leaving these things in a moisture rich environment, duly note there are intake air pockets on the back of these fans because the motor itself takes in air as well to cool it. And that also sucks up dirt, dust, and debris and does get clogged up. If your fan isn't turning, like that one, which will need to be repaired, it's easy. You just need to lubricate it. If you need to find out how and what lubricant, best thing to do is research, research, research. I'm not going to give you the answers because I'm still trying to figure out that process myself. The real way to do it is to order online impregnated oil bearings, which are simple slugs with holes in them that simply slide in. And they're usually something that looks like as if someone kind of saved down one of those beads that are usually in those taxi cabs back in the 90s. Yeah. And it's not one of those beads, though. But it does look like one. And it fits inside these. I nearly poked my eye out with that. Inside of these also has an oscillation system, which, once you pull on the top knob there, starts to oscillate back and forth. This part too needs lubrication. Generally, my kind of lubrication is gear grease, and not the kind that you put in your automobile, but the kind that you would generally put in light duty equipment. If you really are pinching, you can use petroleum jelly. But I'd probably go for some of that general whitish colored lubricant that you can get generally at any hardware store. And yeah, most oftentimes and whatnot comes in those packages when you buy operators from locations. Uh, it's basically used to grease the system, but we also use it to grease the gears because the gear needs that grease too. So grease the gears, grease the system, and grease your bearings. But most importantly, get oil impregnated bearings if you want your system to remain running like as if it was brand new and longer. But mainly, it's got to be cleaned. Remove that screw, remove the screw that'll generally be in there, and if there is no screw in there, see if it just pops right off. And if not, there might be some tabs and whatnot located on the bottom of it that you might actually have to pry apart with a flathead screwdriver. Time to get experimenting. This has an external ring on the outside. Some fans have that ring smaller and others have it larger, but generally its purpose is the same dang thing, to keep the back faceplate onto this portion of the fan at all times. To simply remove the back faceplate, you remove the faceplate, and if you don't want to lose the thing, put it back on. That's what I did. I could do it with this too, but now I'm risking actually breaking it because it's going to be sitting up at least a few inches away from the motor. Because yeah, that's where it would go. It's just basically right on the end, just like that. And it's cross-threaded. That's why I don't do this stuff until the fan's in place. Give me more. Okay. Disaster averted. Also note that there are actually two different kinds of fan blades. So don't go swapping fan blades until you actually see what kind of fan blade or motor and such and whatnot each different system takes. You'll have the one with a shaved off spindle that'll have at least a portion of it and whatnot notched off. Focus, please. Focus. I said focus. Okay. You can kind of see. Come on! Why won't it focus? Not on my face. Still not on my face. Okay, whatever. This portion of this motor has a spindle that actually has a notch taken off of it. The spindle itself is still round, and when I say spindle, I mean the part that spins. Spindle. So I have this portion, this portion, this portion, the feet, and the base all taken apart because I have a mission. One, I have to find one of these little suction cuppy looking rubbery bottom pieces and a screw for this one foot that actually has this part broken. Plus, I need to figure out how to fix that. Which I also need to fix this, which is the base plate. It usually sits on the ground like this and whatnot, with those 4 feet or whatever sticking out of it like the freaking bottom of a Christmas tree, and boy, do they stick out! Note to self, whenever you're trying to move, dismantle stuff before you try and move it, unlike everybody else, because, yeah. Somehow, one of my feet got broken, and this portion right here is all busted and cracked. So I have to use a nice crazy glue / baking soda / toilet paper experiment in going process / using I'm going to use string as well and whatnot, like, well, twine. Would you call it twine? Corded rope. Small diameter corded rope to be able to actually wrap around the base and squeeze this portion shut. I'm going to use an experiment of toilet paper, which is actually dabbed in carbon baking soda and then stuffed into place and whatnot as a mold, and then immersed in crazy glue to be able to repair and replace some of the parts that are missing, that are broken plastic pieces that have been, chunks that broke off. On top of that, I have to figure out if I can fix that foot the same way, because a portion of the screw is actually broken off. That's how the foot piece went missing. Don't know where the heck it went, but I got to try and fix that. And these pieces I have to clean. So, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. See you in a bit. Bye. Evelyn is the eye, okay? Stop staring at. Pick one. Just pick one! Just kidding. I'm not endorsed by Disney.